Greetings, Sigmas. Let me open with a real story, one that doesn't just reveal the Sigma mindset, it defines it. Deep in the icy wilderness of the Russian Far East, where survival favors the ruthless, lived a man named Vladimir Markov, a poacher, a hunter, a man who made one fatal mistake. He shot a Siberian tiger. Wounded, the tiger disappeared into the shadows. Most would think the story ended there, but Sigma creatures don't forget, and they forgive lightly. Over the next 48 hours, this tiger didn't run, didn't hide. It tracked Markov silently, strategically. Not out of panic, but out of purpose. It waited outside his cabin. It destroyed anything with Markov's scent. It studied his patterns, and when the moment was right, it struck. Markov never stood a chance, not against a creature so calm, so calculating, so quietly lethal. Now pause. Imagine a man with that same presence, that same silence before the storm. That's a Sigma. Sigma males are not just different, they are. They don't yell, they don't chase, but when you cross the line, they won't just react. They'll outweight you and outmaneuver you. So if you think Sigmas are to be underestimated, think again, because once you ignite their fury, they don't just fight back, they finish the game. This video is not for the faint of heart. These are 7 chilling things Sigma males do when they finally lose their cool. Subscribe if you're ready to understand the silent power behind the lone wolf. Let's dive in. Number 1, the cold shutdown. When a Sigma gets mad, he doesn't throw fists, he throws silence. Let's break this down, not just dramatically, but psychologically and factually. When a Sigma male reaches his breaking point, you won't see fireworks. You'll hear nothing, no slamming doors, no raging texts. Just silence, deafening, intentional and permanent. The first dangerous thing he does? He shuts down completely. No more messages, no return calls, no explanations. He vanishes like smoke in the wind. Now this isn't the same as emotional immaturity or running from problems, quite the opposite. Sigmas are known for their and. According to psychologist Daniel Goleman's framework of emotional intelligence, those who exhibit strong self-regulation, like Sigmas, tend to avoid impulsive actions. So when a Sigma cuts you off, it's not impulsive. It's the result of deep, quiet deliberation. This shutdown behavior isn't random. It's rooted in self-preservation. Sigmas value their peace more than attention, and when someone crosses a line repeatedly, they don't feel the need to argue. Not because they're weak, but because they're done giving access to those who misuse it. To outsiders, this might look like. But to a Sigma, it's a calculated disengagement, a silent message that says, you no longer qualify for my time. Unlike alphas who may confront with aggression, or betas who might seek resolution through appeasement, the Sigma's weapon is indifference. That's why it's so unsettling. He doesn't yell, he deletes, quietly, cleanly, and he doesn't second guess it. Here's the scary part. While some people cool off and reconnect after a heated moment, Sigma males aren't interested in half-hearted apologies or guilt trips. Once he's emotionally checked out, the door is locked and welded shut. In a world that glorifies constant communication and emotional oversharing, the Sigma's cold silence is both powerful and terrifying. It teaches a hard lesson. Not everyone argues when they're hurt. Some just leave, and that silence is their loudest message. So if a Sigma disappears from your life, don't assume he's being dramatic. Understand, he tolerated more than he ever said, and now he's gone, forever. Number 2. He turns his back with zero guilt. When a Sigma male walks away, it's not a dramatic exit filled with yelling or broken plates. It's quiet, clean, final. And that's what makes it so powerful and dangerous. Unlike most people, Sigma males don't beg for closure. They're the closure. Let's unpack this. Sigma males are lone wolves by nature. They thrive on independence, emotional self-reliance, and mental clarity. According to psychologist Carl Jung's personality archetypes, Sigma types fall somewhere outside the traditional alpha and beta hierarchy. They operate by their own internal compass, which means they're not easily manipulated or emotionally entangled. So when they sense toxicity, be it lies, manipulation, disrespect, or betrayal, they don't try to fix it. They observe, they measure, they test you. And once they confirm a pattern, they quietly begin detaching. Here's the dangerous part. Sigmas don't cling to the of someone. They value reality over fantasy. So once someone crosses a line too many times, the Sigma male hits a switch, and he's emotionally done, cold, maybe, but it's not impulsive, it's calculated. Most people will seek closure through texts, arguments, or long emotional explanations, but not Sigmas. They've already closed the door before they walk away. They don't burn bridges out of anger, they do it out of necessity. This is principle, not pettiness. And no, it's not because they don't feel, it's because they gave you signals, grace, and second chances. You mistook their silence for weakness, but silence was the warning. When a Sigma is silent, he's processing, deciding, planning, then he disappears, not to punish, but to protect. This behavior is rooted in psychological resilience. Research shows that emotionally intelligent people, like Sigmas, know when a connection is harming their peace. Instead of spiraling, they reset. Instead of lashing out, they retreat, and don't expect them to come back. Sigmas don't look back, because looking back is for people who still care, who still hope. A Sigma's hope ends the moment he sees you value chaos more than connection. So if you ever find yourself wondering why he ghosted you, remember, it wasn't random. It was the final act in a play you didn't realize you were starring in. Sigmas don't crave revenge, they crave peace. And once their peace is threatened, they don't explain, they exit quietly, permanently. Number 3, he channels his anger into success. Here's the twist. Sigmas don't explode, they evolve. You see, the Sigma male operates on a different frequency. He doesn't blow up, scream, or seek petty revenge. That's not his style. When he's hurt, betrayed, or angered, he doesn't reach for retaliation, he reaches for transformation. Psychologically speaking, this response is rooted in something called the ability to convert intense emotions into focused energy. Sigmas have mastered this. Instead of lashing out, they level up. When angry, a Sigma doesn't pick fights, he picks up momentum. He channels that emotional energy into something productive. Studies show that people who practice self-regulation under stress, like Sigmas often do, experience better long-term mental health and goal achievement. So instead of wallowing, he rises. He hits the gym harder, not to show off, but to sharpen his discipline. He stacks his money, because financial independence is power. He builds skills, networks silently, and upgrades every aspect of his life while the world wonders what he's plotting. That girl who cheated, she becomes the reason he sets higher standards. That friend who lied? A lesson in boundaries and self-worth. The Sigma's revenge isn't loud, it's visible, and oh, is it powerful. He doesn't send angry texts or make dramatic exits, he just vanishes and reappears later, elevated. His silence echoes louder than any outburst. It says one thing. This is classic Sigma energy, rooted in stoicism, discipline, and delayed gratification. He knows success is the best response, not for the applause, not to prove a point, but to fulfill his own vision. So while others are fueled by conflict, Sigmas are fueled by growth. He doesn't lose sleep plotting revenge. He sleeps soundly knowing he's evolving into a version of himself that outgrows the pain. And that right there is what makes him lethal, not his rage, but his rise. Number 4, he unloads the truth without a filter. Sigmas usually keep their observations to themselves. They're the silent analysts in the room, the ones who don't react immediately but take note of everything, every glance, every contradiction, every hidden motive. While others are busy talking, Sigmas are watching, calculating, studying the patterns behind human behavior like a mental chess game. But what happens when a Sigma male finally gets angry? He lets the truth fly. And it doesn't come out as rage or chaos. No shouting, no name-calling. What comes out is far more brutal. Facts, cold, hard truth, delivered with calm precision. Because by the time a Sigma reaches his breaking point, he's already gathered the evidence. And when he speaks, he doesn't just react, he exposes every fake smile you gave, every backhanded compliment, every attempt at manipulation you thought went unnoticed, laid bare like a forensic report. And that's the scary part. You see, the Sigma male's brain is wired for deep observation. Psychologists refer to this as high cognitive empathy, the ability to read social dynamics without being emotionally entangled. It's not emotional outburst. It's emotional detachment paired with intellectual clarity. That's why when he finally talks, it hits different, it cuts, because it's not just his truth, it's truth, and people aren't ready for that. They're ready for yelling, they're used to drama, but they're not prepared for someone calmly dismantling their entire facade with surgical detail, no fluff, no emotion, just exposure. That's why Sigmas are dangerous when provoked. Not because they're violent, but because they're in a world built on appearances. A Sigma's silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. And when he finally speaks, people suddenly realize just how powerful and terrifying truth can be. So next time you think a Sigma isn't paying attention, think again, he's just collecting receipts. And when the time is right, he won't burn the bridge, he'll light it with facts. Number 5, he plans his exit years in advance. Here's the freaky part. If you've wronged a Sigma male, he's not going to explode in your face. There won't be yelling, no messy drama, no back and forth arguments. In fact, he might even smile. He'll nod, say, "It's all good," and carry on like nothing happened. But don't be fooled. That silence, that's the quiet before the storm. You see, Sigma males are wired differently. They're strategic, emotionally disciplined, and deeply introspective. So when they get hurt or betrayed, their first instinct isn't to lash out. It's to retreat and analyze. They'll wait, they'll observe, they'll take mental notes, catalog every detail, and calmly design their next move like a grandmaster in a chess match. While you're thinking everything is back to normal, he's already 2 steps ahead, silently building his exit plan, and then, one day, without warning, he vanishes, gone from the job, gone from the relationship, gone from the group chat. No goodbyes, no closure, no explanation, just silence. Like a shadow in the night, he disappears. And he leaves no trail, no digital breadcrumbs, nothing to follow. People who've crossed him are left stunned. What happened? Why did he just cut me off? But by then it's too late. This calculated disappearing act isn't just some random behavior, it's rooted in psychology. It's a classic example of the Sigma males. Instead of investing energy in conflict, they invest it in planning their freedom. It's efficiency over emotion. Even in nature, we see parallels. Wolves, known for their Sigma-like traits, rarely retaliate instantly. They back off, assess the situation, and then strike or slip away when it suits them, not when others expect it. So if a Sigma male walks away from you without warning, chances are he already walked away from you emotionally weeks or months ago. You just didn't see the signs, and that's what makes them so unsettling, so unpredictable. Lesson here, never mistake a Sigma's silence for submission. He might be quiet, but trust me, he's not passive. He's just patient, and patience is the scariest weapon in a Sigma's arsenal. By the time you realize he's gone, he's already thriving somewhere else, and you're just part of the past he planned to escape from. Number 6, he sets a new standard that excludes you. When a Sigma male gets mad, he doesn't throw tantrums. He doesn't scream, shout, or make a scene. His fury isn't loud, it's transformative. See, most people express anger outwardly. They want others to feel their rage. But a Sigma, he takes that fire and forges a new version of himself. Anger becomes his architect. When he's hurt, betrayed, or disrespected, he doesn't waste time plotting revenge. He reinvents his boundaries. And here's the kicker. He builds a life so upgraded, so elevated, so full of purpose and clarity that the very people who once mistreated him no longer qualify to exist within it. This isn't just emotional survival, it's strategic evolution. Psychologically speaking, Sigma males fall into the introverted alpha category. They rank high in self-awareness, autonomy, and emotional intelligence. So when they're pushed to their limit, they don't spiral, they recalibrate. Boundaries are tightened. Standards are raised. Their circle, it shrinks, not from bitterness, but from alignment. They start to surround themselves with people who mirror their growth, not their past wounds. And the ones who cross them, replaced. Not with spite, but with silence. Peace, focus, purpose. Think about it. Most people fight back to prove a point. A Sigma male doesn't need to prove anything. He the point. His success, his discipline, his transformation, that's the response. That's the ultimate flex. It's no wonder psychologists describe boundary reinforcement as a sign of emotional maturity. In one study from the University of California, it was shown that individuals who restructure their social environments after emotional pain often experience greater resilience, personal development, and long-term satisfaction. That's what Sigma males do instinctively. Instead of reacting emotionally, they redirect energy into upgrading their mindset, health, wealth, and vision. It's not about erasing the past. It's about evolving beyond it. They hit the gym harder, they meditate longer, they read, build, create, and elevate until the old version of themselves is unrecognizable. Their anger becomes a quiet teacher, not a chaotic destroyer. So if you've ever wondered what happens when a Sigma finally snaps, don't expect fireworks. Expect silence. Expect changes so sharp, so intentional that his presence feels like a different frequency. One that doesn't tolerate nonsense. One that demands excellence. Because for the Sigma male, it's not about revenge. It's about evolution. He doesn't seek to bring others down. He rises so high that they can't reach him anymore. That's the Sigma way. Number 7, he disappears, then returns unrecognizable. The final form of Sigma rage isn't destruction, it's rebirth. When most people get angry, they lash out, they argue, they post cryptic quotes on social media. But not the Sigma male. His reaction is different, dangerously different. He disappears, no dramatic exits, no emotional outbursts, just silence. Complete radio silence. He stops answering texts, stops showing up, no updates, no stories, no status posts. He doesn't need to announce a thing because Sigma rage doesn't crave attention, it craves evolution. You see, Sigma males process betrayal and frustration with surgical precision. While others spiral into chaos, Sigmas go inward. This is a man who doesn't waste energy trying to prove a point in the moment. He steps back, assesses the damage, and uses the pain as fuel. Months pass. People start to wonder, where did he go? They might assume he's struggling, but what they don't realize is he's been in the lab, not a physical one, but a mental, spiritual, and emotional gym. He's been breaking himself down, examining his weaknesses, and rebuilding brick by brick. And then one day, he returns. No warning, no reintroduction, just presence. But he's not the man you remember, he's richer. Not just financially, though that's often part of it, but mentally and emotionally. He's stronger. His boundaries are solid, his mission is clearer, his energy is untouchable. And most striking of all, he's colder, not bitter, just detached. Detached from the old versions of himself that used to settle, that used to explain, that used to beg for understanding. That version no longer exists. And here's the part that stings. He didn't come back for revenge. He didn't come back to flex. He came back because he no longer fits where he was. What was meant to break him ended up forging him. The storm you brought, it didn't drown him, it baptized him. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, a phenomenon where individuals come out of adversity not only healed, but enhanced. Stronger relationships, a deeper sense of purpose, personal strength, all markers of someone who used hardship as a catalyst for greatness. This is the Sigma's secret weapon. His silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. His absence isn't retreat, it's preparation. And when he reemerges, he's not seeking validation, validation. You can't reach him anymore. Not because he blocked you, but because he outgrew you. The version of himself that tolerated poor treatment, lowered his standards, or doubted his worth. That version died, and in its place rose a Sigma who's sharper in mind, clearer in purpose, and colder to the nonsense he used to entertain. This is Sigma rage at its most powerful form, not loud, not violent, but transformative. So if a Sigma male disappears, don't assume he's gone. Understand he's becoming. And when he returns, you won't even recognize the man who walked away. Because the final form of Sigma rage was never about destruction. It was always about rebirth. Sigma's anger isn't always loud, sometimes it's strategic, and that's exactly what separates you from the rest. In a world that celebrates dramatic outbursts and attention-seeking tantrums, Sigma males choose a different path, one built on control, redirection, and inner mastery. Psychology calls this the process of converting intense emotional energy like anger into productive action. Studies from the American Psychological Association show that people who regulate their anger effectively tend to experience enhanced concentration, improved memory, and stronger problem-solving skills. Translation: anger, when harnessed, becomes a superpower. Sigmas don't rage for show. They don't flip tables or shout in traffic. Instead, they take that boiling emotion and forge it into something useful. A better business plan, a new boundary, a sharper physique. That insult you threw at a Sigma, he used it to fuel his next level up. Let's look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes ever and a true Sigma at heart. When he was cut from his high school basketball team, he didn't complain, he didn't spiral. He trained like a machine day and night and turned rejection into domination. That wasn't just determination, that was refined, focused, Sigma-level rage. So if you're simmering right now, good, that heat has a purpose. Channel it, write down your mission, hit the gym, start that project, don't explode, evolve. Because the world doesn't need another man who loses control. It needs a Sigma who, and lets it light the path forward. If this message reminds you of who you are or who you're becoming, hit that like button, subscribe, and join this tribe of focused minds. Wolves walk alone, but they don't walk aimlessly. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, stay Sigma.